Welcome to this new episode of The Future of Sales. And today our guest is Jonathan Berte. Jonathan, welcome.
Happy to be here, Régis.
Jonathan, we're very happy to have you. You're the founder, you're the chairman of your own company called Robovision. Please tell us a little bit about Robovision. What do you do?
We have an AI platform and we help our customers to integrate AI in their machinery.
All right, that sounds very complex. Can you give us an example? What kind of machinery would you use AI in?
For instance, a robotic stem cutting machine that can distinguish flowers and automatically pick them. And our platform can then detect the flowers so the robot can pick them up.
All right. So you have somebody who makes those machines and then
Yes.
they use your robots as a
Exactly.
sort of Intel inside. They have Robovision inside to bring extra intelligence to their
Well,
machinery.
they use our software. The
Yes.
robots, they build them in themselves, but we are an OEM platform,
Yes.
so they built in our software components so they can easily make their machinery more flexible.
All right. Right. So we're in the high-tech industry.
That's right.
If you look back, let's say 10 years, and I always use the number 2015, which I know is 7 years, but let's just say 10 years back, and you compare it to today, what are the big changes that you've seen in the market today in your clients?
Well, 10 years ago, we sold point solutions, well-specified contracts where we knew what to deliver and what had to be paid at definitive milestones.
Yeah.
And we had like a very fixed 18-month roadmap, so to say. And today, the pace is so high that what we sell is actually a capability, a platform as a Lego box,
Yeah.
and we let our customer shape this AI, create these AI flows themselves together with us. So it's more the generic toolbox that is adaptive to the future than a specific solution 10 years ago.
Okay. And why is that? What fueled that change?
Well, the pace is so high today that different players have to live up with the market. They have to follow the state of the art because otherwise they become irrelevant.
All right. So it's like your example of the robot to cut flowers.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, he came to you and he asked for, can you deliver that functionality for my robot?
Yes.
Today he says, I don't even know which functionality I will be needing in the future. So can you deliver me a kind of toolbox that allows me to constantly evolve my machine in the future?
Yeah, and more than that, he wants his or her end customer to create these AI. So the flexibility is actually lifted to the end customer. So the capabilities are all the way going to the end point of the value chain.
So your client says, I can't even predict anymore what the future will be. So I'm going to deliver those capabilities to the end consumer so that he can program it himself because...
He doesn't need to program it. That's the beauty of a no-code flow. He just looks at images, clicks, and creates the AI in a flow. And it's not even an IT expert. It's somebody, an operator at the line that was used to push start, stop, and reset and help with in case of an error that can now create an AI system.
Is this why AI is so important? Because now the end user has to reprogram or reconfigure their robot without having all that technical knowledge. So AI actually
Yes, it's
helps
the
them to do it
extreme
themselves,
flexibility that we deliver to the end point of the value chain.
which they couldn't do in the past. But
Indeed.
thanks to AI now, they can actually do things which they couldn't do.
Exactly.
All right, interesting. Now, if you look at your clients, the way they behaved 10 years ago, the way that they interact with you today, what are the big changes that you've seen there?
We feel that we have become more important in the change of the company, the defining of the USPs, in the innovation roadmap. It has more become like a co-creation team that is building the future of that company together. Whereas 10 years ago, naive choices were often made and things were fixed and delivered and not really up to speed with what the end customer wanted. We have transformed into a much more agile sales process and also delivery process in a way.
So they're looking they look at you much more as a partner than as a supplier today.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, because for them, you need to help them to keep up with the flow.
Yeah, and that's interesting because in many sales niches, commoditization is a point. The sales process is, everything must be at scale. But in our niche, partnerships have become more important, Régis. So that's interesting because the value we create together is also more important because we help them survive in a much more competitive world than 10 years ago.
All right. So that means also, I understand, on a value proposition that you went from a point solution to much more a capability, a box, a Lego box that they can configure constantly.
Yeah.
But it also means for your sales, that must be quite a big change. Because selling a point solution, I know what I'm selling. It's very concrete. Selling a box where we don't really know where we're going, we need to develop roadmaps, that's a completely different ballgame.
It's a very difficult ball game because you don't expect them not only to be expert in the ecosystem of the customer, you also expect them to be a futuristic consultant in a way and define innovation and roadmap changes in such a specific ecosystem. So it's not easy, especially for a founder. You want to create a company that's not dependent on you in the sales process, but in a way, you need to act upon it. And I feel that I need to go more, push my own people, push my VP healthcare onto event on the stage, so they can shine and they can let the organization grow without me being the spider in the web.
Yeah. So it means actually the salespeople that you're hiring today, that you're looking for today, is much more people who are also visionary.
Yes, exactly.
So not only knowing the sector, knowing the lingo of your clients, but also being able to think ahead, develop roadmaps with our clients. So it's much more intellectual and abstract thinking that is needed.
Absolutely. Very challenging.
Okay. And what I also hear from what you're saying is, in the past, the founder, of course, he has a vision. So that it's easy for a founder then to sell because he can bring that vision. And what you're saying, in order to replicate, I need visionary salespeople. I need to clone myself, basically.
Exactly.
Hence the challenge of finding and scaling.
Yeah.
All right. In terms of finding customers, where do you find your clients? How do you look for clients today?
Well, it's a very good question and a big challenge because cold mailing, cold calling is obviously not working. No. So my personal experience is that I need to go out there, be on stages, also in other continents, give business classes, and find those ponds where these visionary people are coming together, because then I have two flies in one hit.
Yeah. Because from what I understand, in order to co-create, we need a client who's also willing to co-create. We need customers who are also visionary.
Yeah, more difficult to find because you don't know that from a LinkedIn profile. You don't know that from a C title. You don't know if it's a visionary CEO, open for change, or whether he's a normal CEO, let's say.
Yes. So therefore, we need to go, where do visionary goes? To which events do they go? And we need to be there in order to meet with them. Is that what you're saying, basically? Yes. And then afterwards, it's about change. You've used the word a few times already, transformation. Mm-hmm. So it's really about helping the customer to change their business and help them evolve. Is that correct?
Yeah, how to shape the new USPs of the future in the customer ecosystem. And that's not easy because you need to be an expert in that ecosystem as well.
In that ecosystem as well. Now, I also imagine that must bring some tension internally as well, because if I'm going to change with the client, our platform needs to follow. So I also need to sell that change internally.
Yeah, very good point, because so need to. That's why at Robovision we chose for a very limited amount of niches, healthcare, manufacturing, agriculture, in order to do this stretch, this roadmap stretch, in a feasible way. If we had like 10 different niches, that would not be possible. So in a way, if we have a new big manufacturing customer, that comes with a road mapping and with stakeholder management. So the team responsible for industry within Robovision will need to be the ambassador of the new customer roadmap items.
Yeah. So it's a big sales job outside, it's a big sales job inside as well.
Exactly.
Which I can imagine, because as a founder, it's easy. You decide.
Yes.
But now you need to be able to build an organization where your salespeople can actually co-create with clients, but also internally. And that's a stretch.
That's a stretch indeed.
All right. Well, interesting. So let me just sum up what I understood from everything you've said, Jonathan. So shorter sales cycles means that clients have to reinvent themselves much more faster.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
They're looking for partners because they can't do it all by themselves all the time. So they need closer an ecosystem of partners which they can do this with.
Yeah.
So it means also in terms of value proposition that we need to develop a platform that is flexible, that can align themselves with these shorter roadmaps, not point solutions anymore. Mm-hmm. And from a salespeople, we need basically more of you. We need more people with visionary capabilities who can really think abstract and help our clients to develop those roadmaps, but also have the political power internally to make things change as well in order to deliver.
Yes.
Is that correct?
I couldn't have stated it more clearly. That's excellent. Come and work for Robovision, I would say, because we already have our first visionary sales.
I'll be happy to. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, okay.
All right.
Well.
Thank you very much,
You're
Jonathan.
welcome.
It was really great to have you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, everybody. And please don't forget, if you like this episode, please subscribe to our podcast, The Future of Sales.